Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaron Kavley, and this is going to be the first session of a solo playthrough using Neon City Overdrive, which is a dice pool based game about cyberpunks, in case you missed the intro there. It's by Action Planet. Nathan Russell is the author, the guy from who wrote Freeform Universal or Foo, although I will always think of it as FU. Sorry, Nathan. As I said, this is going to be a solo playthrough. This is kind of a session zero. I'm going to create the character and kind of set up the background. Since it is a solo game, I'm going to try to use as many charts from the book on itself, but I also, for my solo play, I'm going to be using these. I don't know if you can see them very well. These are Game Master's Apprentice. They're basically what I like to tell my players in my real group, where people do actually play with me sometimes. Uh, these are my GM tarot cards, and they're just full of prompts. They're just full of prompts and random numbers. You could you could roll dice on these cards. And again, I'm not sure if you can see very well, but you can roll those dice on the cards. You have likely odds, which is for your yes no questions, things like that. And it also has uh, basically little oracles. If you want to describe something, look for catalysts. It's got names on it, and these things are just packed full. I love these things. They're by Larcenous Designs. I'll put a link down at the bottom, and to NCO Overdrive, or Neon City Overdrive down at the bottom. Both will be affiliate links. They won't cost you anything to use those, but it might give me a little bit, or at least that's what they keep saying. I don't know that I've actually ever gotten anything for my affiliate links yet, but if you want to use those, then that I would appreciate that. I'm using the Roll20 platform for this, and we're just going to start off making the character. Neon City Overdrive is more of a sandbox. It doesn't, it gives you ideas and it gives you kind of a framework, but it doesn't give you a lot of details. It's a very narrative based game, and it's kind of a game where you find out by playing. And we're going to start playing right now. So step one, I haven't really decided what the character is going to be. I have a general idea in my head, and that's probably what I'll develop. So over here, I'm going to have there's his character sheet. Okay, step one, visualize your cyberpunk. Who are they? What do they do? And what trouble have they just escaped from? I'm picturing a character, and it may be some Sopranos kind of um, vibes from watching Little Soprano hits lately, but I'm envisioning a character who wants to get in with a gang. He wants to get in with a powerful gang. He sees the wealth that they have. He's pretty much been living doing slop jobs, doing shoveling shit for the city, cleaning up trash, working at the kiosks for various retail stores, stocking, just a young man who has not found anything. And along those lines, being as this is kind of, say, Cyberpunk meets The Sopranos, is kind of what I'm thinking of along these lines. There are likely going to be some graphic scenes. I generally like to keep things PG-13, thereabouts. Um, I like to usually I kind of fade to black for things that are too gruesome or explicit, but I may step out of my normal comfort zone for this campaign. Not 100% sure yet, but consider yourself forewarned if you don't like that kind of material. I promise I'll try not to make it gratuitous, although I guess you could argue that all of that is kind of gratuitous. But so visualize the cyberpunk. Who are they from? This is going to be the city. Um, he's kind of a, he's a poor kid working his way through the city. This is going to be the Houston Arcology, is where he's grown up. It's one of the few cities that has survived. The world is constantly racked by these terrible raging storms, like monsoons, like that deluge everything. Some say that there was a solar power satellite system and that it did something, it ionized the atmosphere as they were trying to transfer solar power and beam it down to Earth. Our guy, he doesn't know. It's all stuff, and he barely paid attention to his online public education anyway. But what he does know is that outside the walls, the massive walls that surround what was once just Houston, as we know, in the 20th, 21st century, it is now expanded and it's behind these giant flood walls because the area around them is constantly flooded. Parts of the city are covered, and it's called the Arcology because when it first started, a lot of the whole city was fully covered like an arcology, but now only the wealthier parts are the arcology. Other places, they may be prone to flooding. A huge array of weather lasers have been set up around the city, and they help keep the storms away from the city. They're powerful and they light up the sky. It's almost beautiful. It's almost like a man-made aurora borealis. These green and red lasers heat the air, all run by very smart people at some probably the weather corps who control it for the city. There are people that live outside, but it's very dangerous. And as our character is walking home from his pointless job, glancing up at the weather lasers that are driving the keeping the Houston from being completely flooded, he looks across the street and he sees some guys from the gang that he's always wanted to join. Yeah, sure, they've beat the shit out of him a couple times. Probably robbed him once or twice, but I mean, they're the tough guys, right? They're the people he wants to be like. So the trouble that he has kind of escaped from is that he got caught stealing from his boss, and it's a low level slimy warehouse work, but he stole something from there. He doesn't even know what it is, but he got caught and he ran away. So now he's afraid that he's wanted, although in a city like this, stealing a box out of a warehouse is nothing unusual, but he's afraid to show up to work to try to hire again. So now he finds himself unemployed and a little scared too, try to get another job to make the ends meet. He doesn't have a lot of money, and the little shithole that he lives in is expensive for what it is. So next, we're going to create 3 trademarks. I'm not going to go and explain what everything is. I do have another video that goes over more in depth. This I want to get kind of along into the narrative. So I'm going to discuss my choices, and then basically I'm going to write them down and come back. Okay, so I went ahead and did steps 2, 3, and 4. as I was thinking about the character, and he's one of his trademarks is that he's gutter scum. He's grown up on the streets. Like I said, he's always poor, and he's always done dirty little jobs around the city. So he's gutter scum. But one of the things that he's learned while fighting, while growing up in the streets, is how to fight dirty. One skill that he has picked up, that he's managed to do for a little while, when he gets a good job, is he's a driver. And as you can imagine, driving through some place like Neon City, which is what we're just going to call Houston. It's a Houston arc. It's Houston, but it's Neon City is interchangeable with it, not only because of all the bright flashing neon, but because of the powerful weather lasers that are keeping things away. They're keeping the weather away. And so he knows how to drive offensively. He knows how to get through. He knows how to bust through roadblocks if people are trying to, get whatever it is he's carrying. Revhead, I think, is kind of it's a courier and a familiarity with, kind of being a gearhead. And he's a daredevil. Whether or not this is because he has some kind of natural inclination to be an adrenaline junkie, I don't think that's the case. I think for him, it's mostly a matter of he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. As he is going down the streets, things are hard, and he just doesn't care. He has no hope, and it's almost closer to apathy or nihilism than fearlessness in the heroic sense. But he is young, and he has grown up on the streets, and between his driving and everything else, he does have good reflexes, though. Even though he doesn't care, that doesn't mean that he just sits there. He knows how to get out of the way. Now, his flaws: he's greedy. He's greedy because he's young and under the assumption that if he can get wealth, he will be happy. Now, certainly, if he can get wealth enough to get out of the little shitty apartment he's living in, then that will make him happier, at least, or at least more comfortable. And he's reckless. That goes in with his daredevil attitude, because he's fearless, and the flip side of that is that he's reckless. So sometimes he'll do things that maybe, if he would have thought half a second, he would not do. Now, the next step in our character creation is going to be figuring out a drive. And the drive is basically what keeps him going. What exactly does he do? And I'm not really sure what his what his drive is exactly. So I'm just going to roll a d66. Or I'm just going to roll. Let's see. I'm going to say he's either... I'm going to say it's either going to be survival or lifestyle. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll stop clicking my teeth like a squirrel. I will roll 1d6, and I'll just pick from the one that I think looks the most interesting. So ones all the way around. What do we got? Repay debt to Razor Girls. Move to the orbitals. Remove my Cortex bomb. And destroy my family's reputation. Well, I don't think he's important enough at this point to have a Cortex bomb, and he doesn't have a reputation to destroy. Yeah, I don't see him being like a discarded rich kid or anything. So either move to the orbitals or repay my debt to the Razor Girls. I think given that his general theme, his greed is he wants to move on up. He wants to be moving on up to the orbitals. So I'm going to select that uh, for his drive. All right, so he wants to move to the orbitals. That's a pretty big goal, but he's young and reckless. So there we go. We don't worry about the the track yet. We'll figure all that stuff out. And what kind of gear does he have? He's kind of homeless. Well, not homeless, but he's very poor. He doesn't have a lot of gear. So it probably something very simple. Oh, let's say he's got a knife and let's say a bat. We'll say he's got a wrench, a big wrench that he carries under his coat to club people who attack him, to fight dirty with. He's got a thick rain jacket. And one shitty apartment. All right, so I'm going to round out. I'm going to come up. I'm going to pick a name. I'm going to select a name, some of these nicknames, and everything, just to randomize it. And if I don't like it, we'll select something else. So die 66. Okay, 2 and a 3. Jinx. What's 3 and a 2? Dutch. I think Jinx is actually appropriate because he does not seem to have good luck. His nickname is Jinx. His buddies call him Jinx because he's reckless and he's always getting himself in trouble. He thinks it's bad luck, and his friends think it's bad luck, but it's because mostly of his bad decision-making skills. I'll write up a description here shortly. Let's roll for our affectation. Three and a 1. Or sorry, this is a style. 3 and 1. Corp Goon Chick. Okay, that makes sense. He tries to yeah, his rain jacket. He tries to dress to impress. But his threads are too ratty. We'll say he's of average size. Let me pull out my thing here, see if it gives me any idea. So rain drumming against something. That's one of the tags here. He's already got a raincoat, so that that fits. And I do have, I just remembered, in my cyberpunk craze a couple years ago, I bought these book of random tables, book of cyberpunk random tables. So I will probably use those as well, and I'll link them. They're pretty decent. You can kind of see what's on those lists. I'll link those down there below as well. For now, I'm just going to. I'm going to say he's got a tattoo. Let's see what kind of tattoo he has. '79. A '79 tattoo. A lion in a vast grassland. Ooh, so he's got like a full arm. So he's got a full sleeve. But I'm going to say instead of a grassland, I'm going to say it looks like a. I'm going to say it looks like a city, like a digital. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a digital savanna. It's going to be a digital savanna. That'll look pretty cool. Okay, he's average size. I'll say he's got slick and thick hair. I will say it's red, anime red hair. And a tattoo sleeve of a lion on a digital savanna. Whatever that means. Exactly. Well, I mean, I know what a savanna means, and I know what it means to be digital. So I do actually know what that means, but I don't have it quite pressured in yet. And he will have, he's got, I'm going to add that he's got some cool driving glasses. Cool things that maybe help him sometimes with the driving. You know, maybe they help spot obstacles or something like that. His low class, whatever has, he probably stole it from whatever company he was driving for at the time. And what kind of bad affectation does he have? 4 and a 5. I know it's in the chat over here, and I'll increase my viewing area for the next time. I'm actually seeing what the dice are, because unfortunately with the Roll20 you can't like roll separate colored dice. I'll have to kind of be the same, but I'm not going to complain about that. But over here it's 4 and 5. So 4 and 5. Physical. Okay, so neon tattoos, body modification. Okay, you know what? It's neon tattoos. He's got the full sleeve, and it fits with the whole lion thing. We'll say that's his biggest, but I'll say a neon tattoo, sleeve of a lion on digital savanna, and we'll say he has several other tats going on there. Maybe part of the reason he's broke, because he's buying these tattoos, which they don't hand out free. Now next we come up with our stunt points. Character begins with 3. You spend them over the course of the job, and a hit track of 3 boxes. All right, customize at the game master's discretion. Now we're not gonna do that. All right, hit the streets. Is there anything else I want to add to this guy to begin with? His nickname is Jinx. Let's give him we'll give him a real name. one of these tables will have let's give him a Hispanic name. Okay, 88. I don't envision him. He's not like, this is in the future, so a lot of people are mixed of, of all sorts of stuff, especially the people down on the street. They're mutts. Mutts from everywhere. Page 41. 88. Salvador. Oh, I like Salvador. Inocencio. Not this guy. Casemiro. That sounds okay. And Estefan. No. All right, so Casemiro or Salvador. I think I like Salvador. Salvador. You know what? To mix it up, let's give him a European. Well, does this have a last name? European male names, 25. Well, we'll roll for $20. Now I know this is kind of outside the realm, but when you're solo playing, you pull in all the tools you have. It's really one of my own minor neuroses. It really bothers me when I use dice, even if it's something that's not part of the game. Like, this is a dice six pool game, and I have to admit that the geeky, nerdy, neurotic inside of me is like, why are you rolling percentages? This is not a percentage game. And so I just have to tell that guy to chill, bro. What's wrong? All right, 20. Amen. I think that's a first name, but that sounds like it might be a good last name. Amen. Nathan. Nathan? What kind of name is Nathan? Ibai. I think I like Ibai. Salvador Ibai. Oops. I'll save that later. All right, so we have completed Jinx, our gutter rat, driver, maybe the company that he stole from. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. The company that he stole from is a warehouse, but he was actually a driver for them. And he keeps getting in trouble as you just kind of round things out. That's why he's reckless and he keeps getting in trouble. He's been in wrecks, and that's why he keeps losing his job. So he's very good when he's doing good or doing well, but sooner or later he just pushes that red line too far, ends up wrecking some kind of company vehicle, and he's not working for big corps. He's working usually for these small street level mom and pop shops. But he's done with that now. He's going to head over and he's going to try to. He has a friend who lives nearby, who lives in the same shitty apartment building that he does. He's going to approach that friend, and his goal, he wants to get in the gang. He wants to be in the gang. He thinks he's tough enough. He's going to do it. We'll see how that works out for him over the course of this campaign. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Session 0. Next time we'll start some actual adventure gaming in Neon City. Happy gaming.